One of the worst of the black Hebrew Israelite lies is the idea that Esau, so Jacob's twin brother, Jacob's older twin brother and the son of Isaac and Rebekah, that Esau was somehow white, and that white people today are descendants of Esau, also known as Edom, and that we are therefore, quote, white Edomite devils. So it's not just a ridiculous misinterpretation of Scripture, but now something that tries to castigate people as now the enemy, because Edom could be the enemy of Israel, or Edom will be judged when the Messiah returns. Therefore, all the white Edomite devils will be judged. So it's not just a myth and a lie, but it's something that is pernicious and ugly. So the first problem with this is the Scripture doesn't say that Esau was white. In point of fact, according to black Hebrew Israelites, his parents, Isaac and Rebekah, were both black, as well as their parents going back. And his twin brother, Jacob, was black. And then we know later from Genesis 36 that he takes two Canaanite wives who, according to the black Hebrew Israelites, they were also black. So that would mean that his mother and father and previous ancestors are all black, that his twin brother is black, that his two wives are black, and yet somehow he's white and his descendants are white. So, of course, that's completely ridiculous, absurd.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Arachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad. Now, first things first, Dr. Brown. You're not white. And Esau wasn't white. There's no such thing as white people. You're red. You know, as I'm looking at you on the screen, sitting at that desk behind your laptops, you're red. And that's the very complexion used to describe Esau when he was born. Now, I'm not sure if you know this fact. You know, you being a scholar, you know, you got that doctor in front of your name. Are you aware that the term white as a race was a man-made construct, an invention? Did you not know that you didn't start calling yourselves white until the 1600s? Now, I remember the elder Malcolm in Chicago brought this fact out years ago. All right, there was a woman, I believe her name was Jacqueline, right? She had did a book called the Birth of a White Nation, the Invention of White People. All right, and she basically brought out the history on how they grouped themselves, created a classification for themselves by naming themselves white. And they went with that ever since. Now, real quick, let's go straight to the birth. And let's deal with this. Genesis 25, verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And a lot of people, when they read this, they come up with their own exegesis. They come up with their own interpretation, right? They even say that we're interpreting this verse. Well, it said that he came out red all over like a hairy garment. Now, you know, why is he being compared to a red garment? Because back then the custom was, you know, they would take goat skin or skin from livestock, and they would dye it. Usually they would dye it red. So that's why they're using the term red in its context, because he was born translucent. The blood was showing, through his translucent skin. That's why you Edomites, and that's what you are. That's why that's your complexion. You're really red. You don't have the melanin to cover. So the blood show forth through your skin. So when he came out red, they saw nothing but redness. They said, hey, he's wasted away. What happened? Where's this melanin? Where's his pigment? Let's call his name Esau or Ishar or Ishashua. All right. Esau does not mean hairy. All right. The proper word for hairy is sha'ar. That means hairy. Esau means wasted away, is he. Now, when you go there, right? It's Aishawa. That's what they put. Or you could put Aishashwa. Now, the root word, let's go to Strong's H 6244. All right. And this is from the root word Aishash. And what does it say here? To waste away. All right, because his skin, his melanin was wasted away. So all you saw was redness when he came out the womb. So they called him Esau. That's how you were given your name. That was the progenitor of your forefather. That's how he was given that name. All right. And notice when Jacob came out, there was no description for him because he looked normal. He was the common complexion of brown, in which everybody on the earth are either a derivative of brown or red. The only way you could be white is if you got leprosy. In which even lepers, they have a complexion of redness. All right, you see they'll look whitish pink. And we know pink is a derivative of what? Red. All right. It says, and after that came out his brother, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. So it didn't describe how Jacob looked. He looked normal. All right, it was Esau, all right, who was born without the pigmentation. And Dr. Brown, for him to be such a scholar, how doesn't he know the fact that it's possibly it's possibly scientific? All right, is genetic fact that so-called black people have the genes to have children that come out various colors. They can come out looking like a so-called white person, which you're not white. You can have albinos. You can have our children come out any complexion, no matter if the two parents are dark skinned or not. That's why when you go to Jeremiah, it talks about how our heritage is as a speckled bird. Because we have that genetic variation. All right, everybody come from us. All right. You mean to tell me Adam, Eve, everybody on the earth had pigmentation, but then all of a sudden now it's just a group of Edomites, a bunch of red people in the earth. They have to have come from brown people. Come on, man. That's common sense. Because we all come from the what? Adam, and then they were formed from the dust of the ground. Genesis, the 2nd chapter. The dust is dark brown. The word Adam comes from the Hebrew word Adama, which means from the ground or the dust. So he was brown. Everybody was brown. All right. Genesis 12:9, it says, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. All right. So yeah, we come in different colors, man. That word speckled. Itaza bai. Yeah, Itaza bai, and it says colored, variegated, speckled. And variegated in the definition, exhibiting different colors, especially as irregular patches or streaks. All right, so we're like a variety, man. I mean, at the end of the day, the tribes, we have 10 tribes. It's like you have 12 tribes, and there's 12 different nations. Each tribe is a nation within itself, and you know they have different looks. They don't all look the same. Plus, we didn't, intermingle with other women of other nations. So even our genetic appearance is different. But we all go back to the same seed. So that's why we're one of the main groups that don't judge based off of outward appearance. Because we know Israel can look like anybody. They can look like all nations. Because we even have been scattered among all nations. That's one of the curses. We will be scattered among all people. All right? From one end of the earth even to the other. But getting back to you, Esau. All right? You're not white. That was a man-made construct. As a matter of fact, let me pull this up real quick. And it says, this is from medium.com. And it says, White History Month, Day 13. White people were invented in 1861. This may sound shocking, for surely white people inhabited countries across Europe for hundreds, if not thousands of years, right? Nope. The idea to create white people to group distinct European nationalities together into a single group had not been done until 1681 in Maryland. What happened in 1681 to cause colonial lawmakers to create a classification of people who had never considered themselves a group before? What inspired them to invent white people? To understand this, we need to revisit history, and specifically the scholarship of Dr. Jacqueline Batalora's groundbreaking book, Birth of a White Nation, The Invention of White People and Its Relevance Today. All right. And she, broke it down in her book. All right. And this same history that she goes into, it was prophesied that this beast was gonna basically go into the earth, come out of the bottomless pit, which is Europe, like we've been saying, and you disagree with it, but it matches right up with the history. All right, Revelation, was it 20? This is what they would come out to do. Revelation 20. Revelation 20 and Revelation 20 verse 7. All right. Now, people get, confused when they read this, because they think that after, because it describes how the Lord's going to come back. All right. And he's going to usher in the kingdom, and he's going to reign for 1,000 years, with his men, even those who were beheaded. They were martyrs for the witness of Yahushua. They think that after 1,000 years, Satan is going to be loosed again, and then it's basically we're going to go back to what happened before. No, that's not what it is. All that happened is it jumps in history. All right, after it describes, all right, the dominion of Yahushua, then it goes back in time. When you jump to verse 7, okay? Because we're going to reign actually forever, but it just says that for that 1,000 years to talk about the reign of our Lord, because during that 1,000 years, that's when we're going to rule over these nations. All right? They're going to be up under us. And then after that 1,000 years, they're going to be given their land. they're gonna be freed, but they're gonna be freed under the conditions of keeping the law, statutes, commandments. You could read Isaiah the 60th chapter. You could read Isaiah the 2nd chapter. The law is gonna go forth out of Zion. So you're gonna be forced to learn the ways of righteousness, which is the law. So verse 7, it says, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. All right, because you had a 1,000-year period after Rome had fell. All right, the ancient Roman Empire. And these devils, they went into the mountains. They went up north, went up into them caves. And you had the Dark Ages, where you had, the Moors, most of Europe, parts of Russia, North, all those different regions. It was all populated by Jake. All right, that's where they call that period the Dark Ages, or the Byzantine Empire. It was ruled by dark races, dark people. That's why you go into the icons, the elders, brothers, everybody bring these facts out, man. The catacombs, you go to the Russian museums, they still got the black icons. That leaves the proof, the receipts that Jake was all up in there ruling. Esau tried to erase that fact. That's exactly what he did when he came out of those caves during the Renaissance, or the late 1300s, early 1400s. That was when Jake was beginning to decline. They were falling. You had the bubonic and pneumonic plague, the Black Death, that took out 2/3 of them. While that was happening, you had Esau. Okay, and you had the Ottoman Empire rise. Then you had the other Edomites that became Christian, and then you had another portion that were Judaized. All right, and became converts. Talking about them Ashkenaz, which they was converted going back to I want to say around the 7th or 8th century by Kagan Bullen. You can look that information up. So this period is talking about, when he would come down, from out of them caves, all right, and the Lord basically rose him out of that state and brought him slowly but surely back into power. It says, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Talking about that dragon, all right, basically the revival of Rome, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. And he's had the world deceived ever since he came back into power. One of the first things he did when he ascended back into power was he whitewashed. All right. He whitewashed the images. Iconoclasm. And there's all type of icons on that. They made sure King James was a so-called white man. Shakespeare, all these different figures you read about, all right, in history, all right, they turned them into so-called white people. You see, you look at the coat of arms that they was wearing, all right, like the Scots. It was black people on those coat of arms, man. But now Scotland is full of so-called white people. Well, you had Moors that had white concubines, all right, Edomite concubines, and they was having children with them. So that's why we say a lot of those people that's in southern Italy, Sicily, parts of Ireland, Scotland, them was Jakes. But Esau confused everybody, man, because of his deceptive nature. That's just in him. Like Dr. Brown, you're a deceiver. All right, and that's why you got the prophets of the Lord that's out there to set the record straight. Let's get real quick. Because this is what the Lord prophesied would happen. Because people are in darkness, they're confused. And that's why, they can't understand these things. You confused them. You the one that came out and deceived the world. That everybody believing our Lord was white, the Israelites were white, so-called white. The Most High is a so-called white man. This is Isaiah 25:7. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. All right. And, how is the Lord doing that? By, bringing his truth out. Okay. Like it says in 2nd Ezra 6, that the books will be open before the firmament and they shall all learn together. So I'm wrong link. Let's go to Art Bible. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 6. Yeah, 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 20, it says, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away, and this is the Esau's world. You read up above in verse 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob's the beginning of it that followeth. So right now we're at the end of this prophecy right here gives it away. You won't even deal with this. I don't think I've ever seen Dr. Brown deal with this. I don't even think he even believes in the Apocrypha, the books, the writings in the Apocrypha. But we'll see. I'm waiting to get his opinion on if the Apocrypha is inspired or not. All right, but this right here is a dead giveaway. All right, but anyway, it says 2nd Ezra 6:20, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, when I will show these tokens, these signs, the book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall all see together. All right, what are we seeing? We're seeing the signs. We're seeing, that we're at the end of this thing. We're seeing who's the ruler of this current world. Like Apostle Paul said, then, basically the man of sin will be revealed, the man of lawlessness, all right, the mystery of iniquity, the son of perdition. Where he's being revealed. Okay. And who he's talking about is the same as who John the Revelator had a vision of regarding that dragon, that old serpent, the devil. That same beast, that same nation is who he was warning about, because they was also in power during the time he was writing those epistles. The Roman Empire, which were Edomites. And if you got scholarship, you have true, genuine scholarship, you would agree that the Romans were Edomites. All right, there's all type of lessons on that. There's all type of facts on that. All right, let me jump down to verse 28. It says, as for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And that's how that veil is being peeled back, because the truth is coming out. And Dr. Brown, all he knows how to do is just, he could just say something ain't right, or, he disagrees with it. He gives you an opinion, and you're supposed to take it as a fact. Whatever he disagrees with, whatever he says is bogus or wrong or whatever, you got to take that as gospel, like that's fact. The scriptures say, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar. We don't care what you think. We dealing with the facts. Like in that debate with you and Alazar, you failed to deal with you failed to use scripture as your basis. You want to go into this information, that information, but you was never going into the scriptures. That's how we know you the devil, man. The scriptures say in Isaiah, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, is because there's no light in them. And we know you ain't got the light. All right, but hey, the light is now being shined, and that veil that's spread over all the people is being destroyed right now. All your lies are being exposed. You're not white, man. There's nothing pure about you. Now, we know what these devils intended to do when they self-ascribed that term to themselves. Because white, has positive connotation. Just like they put black on us, that has negative connotation. That was witchcraft being done. Everybody remember that scene in the movie Malcolm X when you read the two definitions? And you're still hanging on to that construct, black and white. And that messed people's heads up. So, no, man, we're Israelites, and the Israelites are variegated people. Okay? There's people that look like Edomites that are in some of the camps. Because their spirit bear witness with our spirit, man. All right, and when you look up that word veil, and the word is masaka, and it basically means, down here it says web, covering, veil, woven stuff, something that's woven like a web. And I always think back to that quote by Walter Scott. What tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. They've entangled a web of lies over the world, and the world was completely deceived. Whitewash plantation Christianity, Catholicism, so-called white supremacy. But all it was the beast ascending, coming back out of the bottomless pit, deceiving the whole world and taking over the world, prevailing over the saints, all right, putting us in slavery, killing a lot of us, enslaving us, conquering the whole world. And now and after that, we became dead. We lost our heritage, our identity. And now the Lord is putting that breath back into us, and now we're remembering ourselves. The spirit of life entered into us, and now we're standing upon our feet. And now you devils are mad. You're on your smear campaigns. Now you're setting up spy smear organizations, task force. Anybody, you creating database for individuals that you claim or deem as radicals, and putting their information out there trying to smear people. And you devils, you've been doing so much damage to the earth since you've been in power. You don't never hold yourselves accountable for what you do, but you want to scrutinize and hold everybody else accountable. That's straight up. That's very narcissistic behavior, man. You devils think that you can never do wrong. And that's the spirit of Cain, because Cain was a murderer. He murdered his own brother. And then when the Lord prescribed the judgment for him, he said, that's too much. He felt like any type of judgment against him would be wrong, even though he was the perpetrator. That's Esau all the way. That's a characteristic of Esau. All right. And I ain't even begin to go into the prophecies. The Edomites, what is the symbol that they always use in power? What was always their symbol, their emblem? Was it not the eagle? The Greek, the Roman eagle? The American eagle? And it said that the Edomites would exalt themselves as the eagle. That's just one clue. I mean, I could just keep going, but hey, facts is facts, man. All right, and going back into because he wanted to talk about color. Well, let's get this. I go to Daniel 10:5, right? So what color was the Lord then? So this What this is getting ready to describe is a person of color. And you're going to tell me that this person of color came from so-called white people, red people. Daniel 10:5-6, it says, "Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like a color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude." So it says that his arms and his feet was like in color to polished brass, and we know brass is a derivative of brown, and it says polished. When you actually look it up in the Greek, it means burned. Because to purify something, to polish something, you burn it. You put a fire to it. Qualah is the Hebrew word. All right, burnished. All right. So this is describing a dark brown person, but yet he came from a group of red people. What is this, that show, Shameless? Two Edomites got a black baby named Liam. Come on, man, stop it. Abraham was a dark-skinned man. The Shemites, Rebecca, they said, you looking down in the comments, they were saying, oh, Laban was white. His name meant white, but that doesn't mean he had a white complexion, man. These were all people of color. Because if that's the case, where did Ishmael come from? Ishmael came from Abraham. Ishmael was dark-skinned. His descendants, they were all dark people. And they're like the cousins to the Israelites. Like when Solomon says in one of his songs that he is black but comely. Let's get that. Song of Solomon 1:5, it says, "I am black but comely, O you daughters of Jerusalem, as the tent of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon." All right. Why did he make the comparison to Kedar? Who was Kedar? Kedar was one of the sons of Ishmael. Kedar, a son of Ishmael, right? Which means dark. Black skinned man. All right. So if the Arabs were so-called black, they were really brown, all right, then what were their cousins? Everybody was dark except the Edomites. And then he tries to say, well, Esau went and got with 2 African women. Okay, but so you saying that the Mosai can't keep that same appearance even if he uses other nation of women? How about that servant of was it Elisha, who went behind Elisha's back and went and took those gifts from Naaman, the captain of Syria, when he helped to cleanse him of his leprosy? What was the judgment that was given to that servant? The Lord kept that appearance on you Edomites as a marker, as a sign, just like he did Cain. When he put that mark upon Cain, and Cain said, well, people that will see me will try to kill me. And the Lord had to basically protect him. 2 Samuel 5, or was it Kings? I think it's 2 Kings, Salakia. Yep, 2 Kings 5, and I'm going to just go straight to the point, and then I'm going to close out. Showing you that it's possible that the Lord can keep a certain appearance or look to a group of people. All right? This is 2 Kings 5. And verse 25, 5, and it says, but he went in and stood before his master, and Elisha said unto him, whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, thy servant went no whither. And he just lied to him. And he said unto him, went not my heart with thee when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maid servants? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow. So the Lord said that, all right, through his servant, that this is your judgment, that basically you're going to be leprous, you're going to be albino, you and your descendants forever. So we see things like this occur. What makes you think that the Lord can't have that effect on you? Now, you're not leper white as snow, but you're a clean leper. All right? You don't have any pigmentation. And the Lord kept that identity upon you as a sign, as it was made to distinguish. Because going back to the birth, it will be two manner of people, 2 nations are in your womb. So the Lord separated us, gave you a different look, gave you a different nature than us. And it's playing out to this very day. And then that enmity, that hatred plays out to this very day. Which is why you did so much towards us and still to this day. But you're trying to run away from judgment, man. That's all it is. But hey, you can't hide yourself anymore. The truth is out. All right, Jeremiah 49 and verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, and I uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. All right, you cannot hide your identity. All right, you're everything under the sun. All right, I'm Cherokee. I'm 5% Cherokee. I'm Australian. You know, I'm Scandinavian. I'm German. I'm this and that. I'm Jewish. You're everything but what you really are. You're Edom. And you can no longer hide that fact, man. Trying to run from your judgment. His seed is spoiled and his brother and his neighbors, and he is not. All right, so I'm going to end off with that, man, just right there. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be many more responses to this. All right, y'all losing, man. The Lord, he's proven what Apostle Paul said, the Lord have made foolish the wisdom of this world, man. He used the fools to confound the wise. Dr. Brown, he doesn't have it, man. Despite all that, the understanding he got, all right, putting in, all that time and energy into, all this research and these theological seminaries, don't know a damn thing, man. And everybody that's on your comment section, they all are lost. They all in the dark. So anyway, with that, I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai. Into the next lesson. Shalom.